really easily what I'm actually doing because I'm reviewing our layer mask specifically. There we go. Let's go ahead
A tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. And on the way I dropped it. A little boy, he picked it up and put it in his pocket.
Alright, and that's all there is to it, guys. Selecting colors and changing them in Photoshop. Let's take a look at the before and the after. Here's our before. Picture is totally standard, and here is our after.
A tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. And on the way I dropped it. A little boy, he picked it up and put it in his pocket.
To add more colors to that selection. Then create a hue saturation adjustment layer. It's going to load the selection into the layer mask, and all you have to do is move the hue slider to the left or to the right. It's going to change color. And then finish it off. If there are any areas of your images that you don't want to include, just click on your layer mask and paint black with a paintbrush. It's going to make sure they go back to the original. Thanks so much for watching and learning, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's going to be super helpful.
A green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. And on the way I dropped it. A little boy, he picked it up and put it in his pocket.
If you have an idea for a new episode or a question or a comment about today's episode, just leave it right down below in the comment box. We got people clickety-clacking away all day long answering your questions as well. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you later. Bye, everyone. We'll practice fresh out. Just about all of you guys, which is we don't spam you. It's just say hi to all the people. Oh yeah, see you, bud. You got 2 buns? Come over here. Show the people your buns. Not those buns. Today I'm going to show you how to change hair color in Photoshop. Hey guys, and welcome to Flern. My name is Aaron Nace, and you can find me on flern.com, where we make learning Photoshop and photography fun. And today we're going to be changing hair color in Photoshop. And it sounds kind of easy, but it's actually really hard. And here are the reasons. Hair color it has to exist within a certain range to look natural, right? If you go too green or too blue, something like that, hair is not going to look natural. So that's a little bit tricky. The other thing is that hair has usually different colors in the highlights than it does in the shadows. Even my hair, which is like super, super dark, but when I get out in the sun, the highlights turn a little bit brownish. So that's kind of some things you have to think about when you're actually trying to change hair color. And the other thing we're thinking about is if you want to change hair color, going from light to dark is a lot easier than going from dark to light. In fact, going from hair like mine, like almost black hair, blonde, that's nearly impossible in Photoshop. So we're not going to mess with that today. You want that if you want your dark-headed subject to have light hair in the end photo, just a bit of a wig or something like that. But today we're going to be editing a redhead, and we're going to go blonde, we're going to change her hair to brown, and then we're going to change her to black as well. We're working on Daniel's image today. He submitted this in a contest recently, and he's winning a Flern Pro tutorial because we're editing his image here on Flern. It's a great image, and I love her hair color, but I thought this would be a cool opportunity just to show you guys how to change it if you did want to do something like that. Okay, so we're going to start off, she's got really nice red hair. I'm going to start off using the adjustment layer, and we're going to go down to selective color. Now I don't use selective color a whole lot, but when you need to take a color range, like a red hair, something like that, and just kind of push it and pull it a little bit, I find that selective color actually works better than hue saturation. Well, we're actually going to use hue saturation adjustment layers later in this episode, but for the initial adjustments, I find that selective color really works well with hair. Okay, so here we go. We got a couple of different options here. We're going to go to our black channel, and I'm going to pull this up, and that's going to give us a lot more black. I'm going to pull it down, and that's going to give us a lot less black. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a little bit less black. There we go. And then we've got our yellow slider, so if you can see you want to make it like a little bit more of a yellow hair, you can do that. Magenta is pretty much like red. You can push that up, pull it down, it's going to give you a little bit more green. And then cyan is going to give you more cyan. Pulling that down is going to give you a little bit red. Alright, so using these sliders, you should be able to adjust. Let's see, you can even go kind of crazy with the hair color. That's not what we're going to do today, but you do whatever you want. And using these sliders, you can see we can get like a light brown, and we can get like a dark brown. And usually, by adjusting these guys, you can see it's kind of adjusting your highlights and your midtones and your shadows separately. And something like that, I feel is pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and close that up. So most of the work you need to be doing can usually be done with a selective color layer. Okay, let's go ahead and say that's our brown copy. So we're just going to group that together, and we're going to call this brown. So very simple. Just take some of the red out, and we can use the selective color layer. Okay, next one we're going to tackle is black hair. So for this, we're going to create a new layer. I'm going to go ahead and group that with itself, and we're going to double click and call this black hair. Okay, now in our black hair group, what we're going to do, first we need to take all the color out of our hair. So I'm going to go to my hue saturation adjustment layer. We're going to click right here where it says master. I'm going to go to my reds, and then we're actually going to click on this eyedropper and then choose this color right here. So this is like, we're going to take this color and we're going to take all the color out of it. So bring the saturation down to 0. Now you can see it didn't include things like this color here, so we can use the plus eyedropper and get it to include that hair color as well. Now if you wanted to minus eyedropper, you can click on the skin. You can see the skin tone is actually really similar to some of these colors that are in the hair. We're just going to use the layer mask to get those out. Okay, there we go. So we can see the background with blue still stays the same color. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to use our layer mask, and I'm going to paint black on the layer mask over top of her face. Now if she had a skin color and a hair color that were completely different, you wouldn't have to use a layer mask, but in this case I do have to use a layer mask. Alright, there we go. So this is taking the color out of her hair. Now the next thing we're going to do after we finish our layer mask, and I'm going to revisit this layer mask just a little bit. It's almost there, but it's not quite there. The trick that I want to show you guys is right here at the edge of the hair, I want to bring my flow really low with my brush, and choose a nice soft edge brush, and just kind of like fade this into the hairline just a little bit. Alright, there we go. So this is a good start. It's not perfect just yet, but it's a good start to what we want to do with the hair. So we're taking some of the color out. There we go. And we can see it looks a little bit more natural there. So now what we're going to do is grab an adjustment layer. I'm going to go to curves, and we're going to bring this down. So we're going to click right here in the middle and just kind of like bring this down. Now you can actually use the same layer mask from one layer to another one. It's super easy. All you have to do is hold Alt or Option and click and drag from one layer mask to another one, and it'll copy it really quickly and easily from one layer mask to another one. There we go. This layer mask, because we didn't select out the background in the first one, so we need to go ahead and make sure we do select that out. So again, I'm just using the brush tool here. There we go, and painting black in this area. Alright, and it's going to be totally up to you. It's like how detailed you actually go when you're working with your layer masks in here. I'm doing a relatively quick job in this tutorial just because it's, we just want to make sure you guys can actually learn this and you don't have to spend 2 hours watching me use my layer masks and things like this. But this is a really great way to just kind of darken the hair. Now let's say we wanted to go like more of a gray color. Let's just click on this curve adjustment layer, and instead of bringing it down, I can bring it up a little bit, and she'd have a little bit more of a gray color. So we're using one layer to take the color out, and then a different layer to define how light or how dark it's going to be. Alright, that looks pretty good that dark. Now, let's go ahead and close this out. We've got a couple tricky areas here where we've totally desaturated saturated, right? Now, instead of just taking this layer mask and making this invisible here, because it's got all that red color in there, right? We don't want the red color back. We just want skin color back in there where we should see kind of the between the little bits of hair. So instead, what we're going to do is a new layer. I'm going to grab my brush tool and we're going to grab a skin color there. We're going to change our brush, our layer blending mode to color. There we go. Down to color. And there we see we can actually paint with the skin color and bring some of the skin color back in between the hair. Alright, so that's bringing skin color back instead of the red color that we started with. I'm just going to lower the opacity of that just a little bit to make it look a little bit more realistic. Alright, there you go. And you can see how fading it right here, fading the scalp into the hair works quite a bit better than just kind of like, using it really, really blunt. Alright, there we go. And we're just going to fade that dark area back in as well. Alright, now if you are going black, there's one more thing that I would suggest, and that's adding some highlights after you've created the black. Because black, it's going to like show a nice shine and things like that. So we're going to add some white highlights to it. So for that, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my brush tool, and we're going to paint with white, and I'm just going to paint right over some of the areas that actually have shine. Here in our hair there. There we are. And right down there. Okay, now we're going to use blend diff to have this only visible where the underlying layer is lighter. So super simple. Just double click on your layer here. We're going to bring our layer style way over there, and I'm going to hold Alt or Option, and we're going to go from left to the right, and now I can just define how much of a shine I'd actually like. So the farther I bring this to the right, the more it's kind of going to blend in, and the farther I bring this, the more it's just going to focus just on the highlights. And I think something like that looks pretty good. So turning this off and on looks really good. Now, if you